Welcome to a new video. I have a new USB-C hub in the house. This is the Giissmo 7-in-1 USB-C hub. And what makes this so special? Let's get started and let's find out. So here we have the packaging. As you can see here, Giissmo 7-in-1 USB-C hub. And what's so special about this? Here you can read it. What's so special? It has PD 3.0 100 watt charging, as well as HDMI 4k 60 frames per second, or 60 Hz in this case. And it has USB-A and USB-C, not only for charging this USB-C, but also a data port USB-C, which might be very handful or handy for some people. And then we have an SD card reader with 104 megabytes per second, so a faster reading speed, microSD and I think SD card reader. So let's get this unboxed here. There's nothing else inside the box, and yeah, here we have the hub itself. Ooh, it has like some Velcro. No, it has some rubber feet, so it can stand up here. And not stand up, but it's not like moving around so much. Pretty interesting. USB-C, of course. It's a bit of a thicker cable, I would say. We have two USB-A 3.0 ports here. We have the SD card and microSD card reader. Then we have what probably looks like a cool design. Maybe there's even an LED. We have to plug it in to see it. And then we have USB-C for PD for charging. Like I said, USB-C also for data transfer and HDMI. And that's basically it. I really would like to have an Ethernet one as port as well here, but it's not in here. So it's a smaller little device. But yeah, I think for plugging in some SD cards and some USB devices, mouse, keyboard or something like this. And you can even charge your smartphone or have data transfer with your smartphone. Is pretty nice, and HDMI is also always a nice addition on this Giissmo one. And as it has 100 watts PD charging, you can also use it with your laptop that needs a little bit more power, just like a gaming laptop or something like this. And this one also, not like the other ones that I showed you before, should be compatible with the M1 and M2 MacBooks as well, MacBook Airs especially. So I will check this out, and first of all I will just plug it into a USB-C port of a computer that I have here. So there we have a computer. Let's just plug it in. There we go. And yes, it's really shining blue here to indicate that it gets enough power, that it's juiced up. And yeah, what we can do is, like, I can open up the computer, and eventually I can start it up even, and then plug this power cable eventually also into here to see how fast it's charging with this one. And of course I can try out the HDMI as well. I will try out many different things on this device. I will plug everything in that I have here, maybe even like a hard drive as well. This is like a fast one, USB free. Plug it in, check it out, especially the speeds and so on, to see how fast this can boot up. And yeah, super secret password is not working because my keyboard is not working for some reason. Great, love this innovation tech. Anyway, so I will plug many things in here, and I will tell you more about the Giissmo 7-in-1 USB-C hub in a second. So here we can see a speed test that I did with my Samsung SSD that I have here plugged into the Giissmo dongle. And what we can see here is that writing speed, 1 gigabyte file, took about a few seconds, 3.7 seconds, and was writing 284 megabytes per second, which is, I think, pretty okay for USB 3. I think it could go a bit higher because I think even USB 2 has like up to 300 megabytes per second. I'm not so sure. Anyway, let's drop the caches and do some reading tests. So we are reading the same file, and let's check out how this is working out, how quick this one is here. So it took a little bit, and you can see we have the reading speed here is 375 megabytes per second, and it took a little bit longer, like 2.8 seconds to get to this, but I think it is still okay, and I think you shouldn't have any problems like attaching some faster hard drives to this one. And yeah, this one is working fine so far. So now I'm charging my laptop. This is a Huawei MateBook E laptop, which has like a bit of faster charging, and this is working fine without any issues. As you can see, I plug in the power cable and it's charging just fine. And where I was talking, I charged it already up 2%, so it's also working very nicely. So I can plug in my devices, and I can also use the USB-C port here on the side to plug in my SSD as well. So I can just plug it in, and it should be recognized in a second. Yeah, it is recognized directly, and I can open up the file itself, and yeah, can check out what is on this device. Open files, and here you can see I have all my files I can work with. So pretty nicely as well that I have the support now for plugging in USB-C devices, which is pretty awesome, because this allows me also to plug in USB-C audio user interfaces as well that allow me to record something, which might be very handy, because this Huawei MateBook E only has one USB Type-C plug here and nothing else basically. So I have the possibility to plug in multiple stuff onto this, which is pretty handy, especially if you have some limited devices like this. And I think this nice blue shining LED is also a nice addition to this, because at least you know it's recognized, it's working, and it has enough power. Another thing some people might want to use is a HDMI adapter to have your screen on a bigger screen, or to project something if you want to hold a presentation or something like this. So you can also do this, like plug it in, and in this case my MateBook E is just turning and cloning the screen here. Actually, not cloning, it's just like extending it, and I have the mouse cursor now here, and yeah, have the ability to do some stuff there as well, held my presentation or something like this. Also very useful, I would say, and it's working fine with this HDMI adapter. And of course it can also work with tablets. This is my MatePad 11, and I can just plug it in here via USB-C, and you can see that it starts charging first of all, because I have my power still plugged in, but then it's asking about the wireless transmission, and if I click yes here, a wired transmission, then it's also transmitting the picture here to the big screen, which is pretty nice. So I have the possibility to do this, and let me try it with another thing like a phone, for example. I have here my Xperia 1 Mark IV, which is an interesting phone from Sony. Just unplug it and then plug it in here. Should be also having the ability to get the device. Yeah, the cloning is working as well there, so you have the possibility to connect it, charge the phone, and connect it, and you are also good to go here with HDMI, where you can just simply browse with your phone, which is pretty interesting if you want to travel light, for example, and want to do video editing on your phone, because the powerful hardware that you have here, more than 1,000 euro phones basically have this power already, but you don't have like a big screen. You can just use this, plug it to your hotel's HDMI TV screen, and then you have like the ability to cut your video. This is why what I did as well when I was in New Zealand traveling around. It's working pretty nice as a mobile working station. So this gives you the ability also to plug in a mouse and a keyboard and have a real workstation. So if you want to travel light, if you want to have like a very lightweight device with maybe a keyboard and mouse still attached, if you want to write longer texts, you can transform your high-end smartphone to a mobile working station or even gaming station with this Giissmo 7-in-1 adapter USB-C, which is pretty awesome, I would say. And of course, what I will do at the end of the video, I will use my microSD card, put it in here, and will do the video editing on this Xperia 1 Mark IV as well. So you had the best of this. You can see what I will do the editing on, which is pretty nice. I will attach maybe a mouse to it, or using a Bluetooth mouse, which will be also possible, but I will attach a mouse, a keyboard maybe onto it, put in the microSD card in here, edit everything on the Xperia 1 Mark IV, and this is all possible thanks to this little dongle here, which is pretty nice. Also, the file transfer speeds from microSD look very, very promising. As you can see here, 55 megabytes per second. It's not the fully 100 megabytes per second. It's promising, but I have like a few dozen devices connected to this one right now, so I think it's pretty okay. So here I have my setup. As you can see here, I'm not a real YouTuber if I don't have LED lights. So LED keyboard, we have an LED mouse, both plugged in here. The mouse is plugged in wirelessly, the keyboard via this cable. The microSD card here from this camera, which is the Fujifilm X-S10, is plugged in there as well. Then we have the phone itself, as you can see here, plugged in via USB-C, but also HDMI out to this monitor where I can scrub around without any issues. The files are 50 Mbit per second, so no issues reading this. The speed of this one should be fast enough for doing everything that you want to do. So yeah, pretty cool, I would say. What can I say about the Giissmo 7-in-1? I think it's a very good device. A USB-C, two USB 3.0, micro SD card, SD card working fine, USB-C working fine, HDMI working fine. I only ran into issues when I was plugging in my mouse, my keyboard, my micro SD card, my HDMI cable, and then wanted to plug in my external SSD as well via USB-C. This was not working because then it was like resetting the connection for some reason, I think for power reasons, even though I had power plugged in here. So you might run into issues if you fully use it, especially with external SSDs or something. But as soon as as long as it is not the power hungry devices, it should work fine without any issues. And I think it's a very interesting and cool little gadget to have, especially when you're on the go with your small lightweight travel kit and you want to still have all the ports necessary. The only thing that really wish would be an Ethernet port here as well. This would really bump things up because nowadays you on laptops and even smartphones or tablets, you don't have Ethernet ports so much. I know many people rely on Wi-Fi nowadays, but sometimes it can be handy also to have an Ethernet port just for debugging stuff or transferring things over the network very quickly without using or relying on hotel Wi-Fi that might be very flaky or something like this. So a very good device. I will put the link down below where you can get it. The Giissmo 7-in-1 also worked with a MacBook. I didn't mention it so well, but I was testing it with a MacBook M1 as well. It's working there as well. No issues at all. Also charging is working without bricking the device. We know that there were some famous issues there with Apple devices, but this one is working fine. So I can tell you this one is the one to get if you want to have a lightweight, good travel USB 7-in-1 kit. Otherwise, that's everything for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Until the next time. Bye.